Hi, Nicole. Is it Nicole the toy?
Yes, well, technically, it's actually Nicole Wessels. But
Yes.
funny enough, when we came over to Australia, my passport hasn't been updated. So, unfortunately, in Australia, I'm still registered under my maiden surname. So, Nicole the
Right.
Toy, but technically Wessels. But yeah. Hi.
That's a whole topic on its own. Before we delve into why we are actually having this call, tell us a bit about that. Did you have any struggles? Were you like nervous standing at border control, showing them the
Oh
passport?
my goodness. So for me, I'm blessed enough. My dad really worked very hard to be able to bring us over on business class visas. So for me, the whole process of getting into Australia looked very different compared to most people. And then we actually came over when I was pregnant. We flew over I think I was 32 or 34 weeks pregnant to have
Wow.
our baby here because at that stage I had permanent residency and it would just make the paperwork easier and everything. So
It is.
that
It
was
does.
chaotic. But so I think our stress level was it was in so many different places at that time of our lives. But I think the border control was it was not a big stress factor. Um, I think
You can
when we
just
came
fake. You
up,
can fake the labor. You can like fake. You're like, listen, I know you want to ask me all these questions, but the baby is coming. Like,
but the craziest thing, so we actually planned on coming over, having the baby, and then we had to go back because my husband was on a holiday visa. So
right.
we had to get her passport and everything within 6 weeks. And to do that, you need to get citizenship certificates and the process to do this, it was so insane. So then we went back to South Africa when she was like 6 weeks old. And then we stayed there for a little bit and then flew back. But then we had to pack up our whole little house and move it in 6 bags. Um, so we took the weirdest things, like a stand mixer, a
Hmm.
computer screen, alcohol because we're South African. But
Sounds very
yeah,
familiar. So we
yeah.
we slightly different. We went to the UK first for
Well,
a work sprint for a couple of years, and it was me, my wife, and my son. So 6 bags. We sold everything. Facebook Marketplace was not even 6 months old or something. I can't remember, and we just packed it all on there. People came to our house like all every day was like 10, 20 different people there just buying little bits and pieces until there was
yeah.
literally nothing left. The rest we all gave to Cookie, who was our housemaid. How would I say that respectfully? Ospedinde. And she got like the rest, furniture, beds, and those sorts of stuff, which she really really appreciated. Yeah, then when after our 3 year session in the UK, we did it all again. But the thing about the surnames is interesting for me because look, I've got two surnames. So I was born under a different surname, and then I was legally adopted to have the surname I have today. So
Yeah.
because the adoption papers 20, 30 years ago, and I'm saying this because there will be South Africans out there that's got questions to ask, is it was still mostly Afrikaans. The whole paper, all the paperwork is Afrikaans.
Oh my
In
goodness.
order to go to the UK, I had to send all of this to international registered and acclaimed translator company, and they would translate those papers to English. And they made so many mistakes. It was just crazy.
Yes. Oh,
After we eventually sorted that out, we moved to the UK and then we lost that translation. I know it was outdated. We had to do it again. And then every time I come to like Border Patrol anywhere in the world, I'm like, listen, just believe me. This is who I am. This is my surname. Go check my Facebook
I
or
promise.
something. Yeah. But
Oh,
we've got three kids now, and my latest Hannah was born here, and I must say she's pretty much she's the only one with an Aussie passport. We all got permanent residence, but she actually can leave
yes.
us as a
Ugh.
3 year old, get on the plane and fly somewhere.
Yeah, even with us, Isabella is the only one with a passport, and then I'm pregnant now, so then this baby will also have a passport. Luckily, we both have permanent residency now, but like so unfair. It feels like they haven't done the work, but they get the benefits.
It's exactly what my wife said as well. So Isabella, my middle child's also Isabella. Yeah,
Oh,
she was born in the UK. Yeah, she's our English rose. Now,
no.
we have scheduled this call for a reason though, because you have a very interesting business venture, and you shared it on our Facebook group. And
Yeah.
I personally approved the post because I read it because anything business like we're normally a bit strict with because we leave it for the Fridays, and we
Yeah.
only mostly approve food posts when it's like people selling South African foods or biltong or those sorts of things. But I
Yeah.
really felt like what you're doing is very creative. And it will definitely help a couple of people out there that was maybe looking at getting their children to get involved in things like that. Now, tell us a bit more. The floor is yours.
Oh my goodness. So my business ventures, I get new business ideas every single day. Like my mind flows all the way. So it started off with me doing artworks and selling those on Facebook, $50 an artwork, and that did really well for a while. But then I kind of got out of that for a little bit, and for a long time I've been thinking about because I have a little daughter, and I noticed that most of the mommies in Australia that are South African, their children don't speak Afrikaans. And I was like, okay, hold on, there's a gap in this market because they tend to say, oh, yeah, it would be nice for them to speak Afrikaans, but they've just picked up English, so we kind of went with it. And I was like, there are content creators that do Afrikaans, but I feel like it's not enough. I feel like for me as a mom, if I put something on the TV, then it kind of gets repetitive. And the
Mm.
other thing is, I've got ADHD, so I get so overstimulated with like noises and like just
Yeah.
colors, and it's a lot for me. So I was like, I want to make content for my child, or well, my children, future speaking. And I wanted to be very educational, but I wanted to not like the purpose of it is not to distract the child. The purpose of it is to play in the background as something while they may be playing or while they're doing something. And most of the content that I'm planning on doing is based on having an activity that they are able to actually do while watching. So, for instance, if you're having it play in the background, the videos that or that I'm busy uploading now, they are about like writing, coloring, reading. And I also wanted to make my videos like my age demographic isn't just babies or just toddlers. I wanted it to be something that they can grow into. So there are certain aspects that they can use now, but then there are aspects that they'll use in 7 years' time because this is something that they're not sitting there for hours watching, focusing, keeping track of. It's something that they notice like here and there, take little bits and bobs, and then in a few years or months or whatever, they'll be able to do those things. And I'm very happy with how it's going. Obviously, I'm not a professional and I'm only starting now, so I'm learning. And I wanted, like, for now, I want to have a groundwork laid out where I'm doing basic things like colors, shapes, the alphabet, those types of things,
Mm.
because going into bigger phases, I can get more complex, but I need to start at some point where my daughter can use that. So,
And it's all Afrikaans.
well, no. So I believe in doing bilingual from young. And also, the problem I was having with only doing Afrikaans is if I'm trying to teach other kids that are English Afrikaans, only doing Afrikaans won't interest them.
Yeah.
So I do the videos Afrikaans and English on the same page, but different playlists. But I do the like basically the exact same video in Afrikaans and then in English. Because then if they watch both, then it's easier to pick up.
That's a good
Um,
idea. Yeah, yeah. So look, my kids, for two of them, basically grew up on Lolos.
yeah,
Dat is al wat hulle geluister het in
yeah,
in South Africa. But the moment you move overseas, the peer pressure of them being in childcare most of the time, because me and my wife are both working, that's what really gets us. So
Yeah.
my wife and I speak only Afrikaans at home. But
Yeah.
as soon as we turn to the kids, we speak English because they
Yeah.
are and they're very
Yeah.
Aussie. So the way that we found to get just a tiny bit of Afrikaans in them, but so much so that they fully understand it, and at times they can phrase a few words, is music. So I'll be
Yeah.
playing the nice stuff from Van Coke.
Ja, nee.
And, it's Susie Landrella and Joe Black. Joe Black is like it's always on my playlist, and he's Afrikaans, and then sooner or later they start singing along, and that worked really well. So I can see how if you what you're planning, bringing music into the mix of it, and even you can reach out to those artists. They're very approachable. Some of them. I mean, I know I speak to them
Yeah.
on a regular basis. They might just endorse you as well. It's quite a big venture you got there.
So the problem I'm having, firstly, I'm very like, oh, you know, I'm fault, hey? So I'm
That's
currently, I'm experimenting a little bit with using AI to generate my songs. My songs are my own ideas that I used AI to write them because I'm not a musician. I unfortunately don't have those talents. My dream would be to actually work with people that really know what they're doing and can take this and really make it a success. So at the moment, the Afrikaans AI generated song is not, it's not the best. And I tried singing over it to like, but the reason I started thinking I want to get kids involved into the videos is because when I was watching my first episode, I was like, oh, this song bit just having that stationary background of the picture and it's bright and bold, that already to me was a little bit overwhelming. And I thought, wow, we could replace this with kids singing and dancing and, having fun. So I thought I'd start a little initiative that can get the community involved. And if moms want or dads want their kids to be on my YouTube channel, then I post on the Facebook page the moves that I need, and then they can post a little video on the page, and I can use that. So hopefully one day that really works, because I think that'll be
your
awesome.
your own international lolos. The thing about AI is it's still fairly new. So
Yeah.
I work in the computer industry and IT specific, and I'm a programmer. And I've relied on AI at times to help me troubleshoot bugs. The thing is, I've seen many times how it gets it wrong, and
Yes.
like very wrong. And then once you sort of come to a point where you're dependent on, it's hard to sort of shake it. The better idea, and this is just my opinion, is yes, you're on the right track. Get the community involved because you will learn it is not difficult to entertain small children. It is not.
Yes.
If you can do it in such a way where it's healthy, it's fun for them, it's educational, you're not just going to get the children excited about it, but you're going to get the parents excited about it. And then you're going to
For
start
sure.
getting booking and people on a
Yeah.
regular basis. Yeah.
So
And
that's why it's so
what sort
important
of
to me.
equipment are you, if I may ask, what sort of equipment are you using?
So once again, this was an overnight idea. So I'm still currently using my phone, but it's a Samsung Galaxy S24. So it's like really
Okay.
great with the camera thing. Like it does the thing, and the mic that I've got is doing its job for me. It makes it so for me at this stage, being a mom of a little toddler, I need to be able to edit my videos on my phone because if I go and sit at a computer or if I do something like that, it distracts and she wants to be involved and it makes it difficult for me. And at this point, I'm trying my absolute best to post 2 videos each day from Monday to Friday, which it's a lot. That is a lot of work in itself, the recording and the editing and everything. But
Yes.
I want to have a lot of content in this building stage of my page. And yeah, the phone works quite amazing. And also
I
because it's low stimulation, I don't need a lot of crazy
It's,
software.
there's nothing wrong with it. Of the my very first interview was almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah,
Alicia Bos, she lives in New Zealand, and she was making most of her videos on a Samsung, and
yeah,
she had thousands of followers. And it
yeah,
was just day-to-day videos, going in a grocery store, explaining the prices, those sorts of things, the struggle of the journey abroad. People want to know that information.
yeah,
And the fact that you're keeping your equipment basic. Now you're talking to equipment like a technology nut, because that's what I
yeah,
am. I've got every single thing you can imagine. I've got wide frame cameras, I've got lenses, I've got Ronin gimbals, I've got this camera on top is a link to Insta. I've got everything that I'm trying out. I've got lights in the back. Trust
yeah,
me, less is more. You keep it simple, and then what's going to happen is you can actually get parents to start sending in their own vids as
yes,
contribution
and it'll,
because every single one of them has a phone, and
yeah,
all phones nowadays have very, very good cameras. But
yeah.
don't worry, we'll add your link to your YouTube page,
Thank
your
you.
YouTube account in here as well, so people can go check it out for themselves.
I'm very excited because the other thing that I really want to do is I know for most South Africans, it's not an option to buy resources. And especially if you're paying school fees already, to pay an extra amount to keep your child busy at home, that can get a lot. So the resources that I use in my videos, I try to make most of them myself. Obviously I've got toys and things in the playroom that I also want to explore, but the resources are also linked in my YouTube videos and they feel free to use and to share and whatever. And I really hope that can also help moms.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm finding a little trouble with like, for instance, the Y and the T, it's written differently in Australia compared to South Africa. So things like that, it's like, I'm really sorry, but I'm in Australia and I need to teach my child this way. I'm not an educator. You can use it if you want to use it.
Yes.
But yeah, there will be a few hiccups along the way, but we'll get there.
Look, all ideas, all good ideas start somewhere and they start small. And one
Yeah,
thing that I have learned about South Africans abroad, they are very, very supportive.
yeah,
In some places more supportive than others. You're definitely in the right spot in Brisbane. If you were in
yeah,
Perth, even better, I would almost say. Melbourne, very good as well. A little few and far between at times because yeah, in our area where we are, there's like a handful of South Africans. Then you need to drive 30 minutes. Then there's another sort of a community going on there. But you're definitely in the right spot. You should
yeah.
also look out for, do a Facebook search for Book Vidum, which is a lady in Sydney. She imports all the Afrikaans books in Australia, pretty much. As there'll
Oh,
probably
that'd
be a
be
few, but
awesome.
she is the biggest. And she recently won an Afrikaans reward in South Africa because of the contribution she's doing for Afrikaans here.
Oh,
She's
wow.
actually supplying a whole school in South Australia with Afrikaans books. They actually teach it as a subject.
That is
Plus,
awesome.
in Brisbane, you've got Jock and them. They've got the Afrikaans Club, which you probably heard of, and they've got a couple of big camps and events going on every year. And you also got SA Events, who's also in Brisbane. And now, fun fact, SA Events owner is also part owner of Oorsee. We're business partners, yes. So he is also Afrikaans and he imports, well, imports is probably the wrong word for it. He brings in all the Afrikaans artists into Australia to perform.
Yeah.
You will see Fun Coke and Early B in Brisbane in a few months, 2 months time. They're
Yeah.
coming over, and then there's a couple of other surprise acts also coming over, and I think people like Apple and those guys they will also be coming over either later this year or early next.
Awesome.
But
That
there's
is so,
lots of Afrikaans action. There's the community. Trust me, just keep working on an idea. Keep
yeah.
giving it love. It will do great.
It's so interesting that you're saying that because I've got a TikTok page and I'm growing it, but it's almost at 90,000 followers. So I'm really thankful for that. And when I try to do English content, the videos just don't really do as well. But as soon as I switch to Afrikaans, ironically, because I'm living in Australia and because there's such a great community here, it does amazing.
I
So I'm
saw that
very,
too. I saw that too. I couldn't believe it. So I've got a TikTok for a share. I should give it more love, really. And I post every so often. I'll post a little video, and it won't do really good. But then I post one video with an interview I did with Diaspora Wasserfall. You know
Yeah.
the guy that sings Beloven,
Yes, yes.
Beloven? Yes. I interviewed him a few months back, and he lives in Amsterdam. And just a little snippet, 72,000 views, like literally in just a few days. I'm like, I can't believe Afrikaans. So
That is
the hunger is out there.
yeah. No, it's amazing. I'm very thankful for the Afrikaans community, and I really hope we can take this thing very far and yeah, make Afrikaans the next language of the world.
Make Afrikaans great again. Should I? No.
Yes.
It is great already. Nicole,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I have taken too much of your
Thank
time. We're almost 15 minutes over. I know
No
you've got
worries.
a curfew. I would like to ask about that, but I don't know how much you want to share.
No, so I sent my husband out the house with the toddler and he went to
Ah,
Kmart and he luckily has not returned yet. So we're safe still.
what, if I may ask, so because we look, Oorsee is all about hearing the immigration story as well. Our very
Yes.
first is all about immigration story. So, what work does your husband do in Brisbane?
So funny enough, there's a big also South African community or company or Kwacha.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
he actually he works for South Africans, the Botha family group. They do mowing work for the council, so he mows the parks and the roads and
that's
everything. But
incredible.
it was crazy when we first came over to Australia. My dad helped us a lot to be able to come over. We sold our car and things for a few expenses, but um, when we first got here, we did cleaning houses, DoorDash, the paintings and the artworks that I did. We did anything and everything that we could to just get money. And it's so ironic because whenever I tell people, oh, my husband cleaned houses to be able to get money, they're like,
Yeah.
are you serious? But doing that, he made so much more money, like compared to
Yes,
other jobs. The I can't explain it. The non-judgmental atmosphere in Australia, it's amazing. Like you can do
yes.
anything and everything. And yeah, because of his job, I'm blessed enough to be a stay-at-home mom and be able to have my child at home. So I'm very,
Wow.
very thankful for that.
That is amazing. I wouldn't lie. At times, I feel like just leaving what I do and go doing like opening up my own jimmies and mowing lawns and stuff because it looks so stress free because of the kind of work that I have to do. But I am very very impressed. That whole topic is an interview on its own. Tell me a bit
Yeah,
about the DoorDash because I'll be honest. I've had DoorDash many nights, me and my family,
yeah.
and at times I wondered, would that be a good way of earning a bit of extra income? Did it
No,
work?
so that was so incredibly stressful. And from what I've heard, doing Uber Eats is a lot better compared because DoorDash, for instance, they don't pay you for waiting time. So if you're at the restaurant waiting for the food, it's
Yeah,
not your fault the food's late, but you get like you don't get less money, but it shows that you were late. So let's say the
yeah,
customer was going to tip you for good service. Now they're not going to tip you anymore because you were late or whatever, but you weren't actually late. So with Uber Eats, they actually pay you for the time that you like stuck at the restaurant because they actually aware that you are there waiting and it's your personal
yeah.
time that you're spending. And oh my goodness, so we have an electric scooter that we did the DoorDash on. It was the craziest, the most fun experience ever because we lived in the city. So at 12 o'clock at night, you'd be driving through Fortitude Valley. Now, for those of you that know Brisbane, you know Fortitude Valley is like it's in South Africa, it's like the strip, like Latinos
Zielbrouw.
and
Zielbrouw, you
yeah,
know?
it's rough out there. So, but it was so much fun because in my life, I have never imagined myself with a massive box on my back driving a scooter and delivering things. But the worst experience was my very first delivery. Someone ordered a McDonald's breakfast, and the problem is McDonald's, for like customer safety, they put everything in a bag and seal it with stickers so you can't check that everything is fine. And the
Saw that.
customer ordered a coffee and a McMuffin. And listen, I'm not trying to be like on Kylomi's racetrack. Yeah, I'm driving by the road rules and doing it very nicely. And
Yeah.
the way the bags are designed, you can actually have sections to like keep everything upright and everything. So I know my driving was good. When I got there, the lady got a two-in-one combo because the coffee lid wasn't closed. So
Oh,
the whole coffee was in the McMuffin, and I like nearly cried. Like that was the worst experience. And she said, "Oh no, it's not the first time it's happened. McDonald's doesn't close the lid." And I'm like, "So then why do you like why would you want
why would you
that?"
order the same thing?
Yeah, so
Oh,
that was money wise, it's not amazing. Like, I would say that is definitely something if you are on your wits end and you need money, like it is
yeah.
a good option to just keep going. But don't be expecting to make $1,500 a week. It was like, I think if you work really hard, like 8 hours a day or whatever, you can make about $800 a week. So that it's good, it's good. But living in Brisbane City, rent and everything,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So
And
depends.
the cleaning of their houses is interesting because I won't lie, being South African is there's a lifestyle that we get used to growing up that you don't get in other countries. The funniest thing, like the first day of my job, I got an offer at a school as senior tech. So we take lunch every day together. This is not just me, it's my technician and then our project manager and our system admin as well as our manager. So we all sit around the table. So they all look at me and they're like, "So, did you have slaves too?" I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And
That's
then
how.
I realized he's talking about the house cleaner,
Yeah,
which we have. They
yeah. So
consider
for
it
us,
slavery.
yeah. Luckily, so my husband didn't grow up with domestic workers. I was very
Bless him.
much a spoiled little brat. We had two domestic workers in the house. So I've never made my bed. I've never cleaned the stove. Like it's like it had never happened for me. And when I got here, life,
You
well,
have to
luckily
clean
before
other people's houses.
moving, my husband was very, because he didn't grow up with domestic workers, he was very annoyed with if things aren't in the place where he is used to it. If he wants it cleaned this way, then he wants it. So he'd rather do it himself. So we were kind of already used to it when coming over. And I think because of that, he was able, but listen, he made like $40 an hour cleaning houses. And then we also charged like distance fees and things if the like person was outside our radius, whatever. That I'm telling you, I'm considering I'm considering moving him back to that job. I'll be rich, rich.
You can look. I've met a lady the other day at a kids' play party. She's an Aussie. She does that for a living, and she lives
Yeah.
the most comfortable life that you can imagine. Now, I know this whole conversation totally switched over to how can a South African make an easy buck abroad, but there's one thing me and my wife absolutely agrees on. No one cleans a house like a South African. We
Yes.
we've moved several times since we came here. Then we normally pay for end of tenancy cleaning. They do such a horrible job.
Yes, it's
We
surface
end up going
cleaning.
back in. We go back in on our hands and knees and we clean it again because we know
Yes.
how. And agencies knows this as well. So if nowadays if we need to do a big clean or an end of tenancy clean, we'll just tell them, listen here, we're not going to hire that person you're recommending. We will do it ourselves because we can do it
Yes.
properly. And then they're like, you know what, you South African, we know you can do it properly. So they let us do it. And we get our deposit back because stuff
Yeah.
like this, other than the shower, it just freaks me out big time.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's crazy.
so I can see how you were really good at the job, despite being a spoiled brat. That was actually really funny. So Your payback was to, because you have not made your own bed in 20 years, you will go do it for other people.
Yeah. Oh my
Nicole,
goodness.
I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much. This was a great chat. I don't think I'm going to
Thanks
edit
for having
anything.
me.
No, no, it's great. I'm not. I don't think I'm going to edit anything out of this. I'll need to write up a bit of an article or description on it so people know what the video is about.
Yeah.
But I'll try and get this out by tomorrow or even later tonight, if possible.
Awesome.
And you just keep an eye on the YouTube channel and you'll see it there. And I'll make sure I share it on all the groups and get some traffic to it.
Awesome.
Please send me the link
Thank
for
you.
your YouTube video, your YouTube channel
I
again.
will. I'll do it straight away.
Yeah.
Thank you so, so much for having me.
Not a problem. And still groete vir jou man.
Ek maak so. Bye.
Bye bye.